the importance of looking after our aql, mental health. Having a strong mind.
From the maqasid of Sharia, isn't it?
It is, which I'm going to be mentioning, and will give you a greater relationship with Deen in terms of you'll be stronger. And that is why the beauty of Sharia, we mentioned this right at the beginning, that there are certain laws that they are made haram in Islam. Yeah. And the reason is because it is to protect our aql. For example, taking drugs, drinking alcohol, etc. Why are these things haram? And the reason is because it is very important for us to protect our mind. Because weakness of intellect will eventually create weakness in our faith. Because we become dependent upon these things in order to give us serenity, tranquility and peace. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we talk about in light of Quran and Hadith, that the ultimate peace and tranquility is in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Anything that stops you receiving that itminanul qalb through dhikr. Why is there people who are taking drugs? Okay, na'udhu billah, they are addicted to gambling or other drinks, haram drinks, for example. Why is it that they do not find peace? When you give them Quran to read, they read a couple of verses of Quran and they'll close the Quran. We'll tell them to the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they'll do probably half a tasbih and they'll find it a burden. It's because their mind is not strong. Yes? So that is why, if you, and we're talking about the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do you know namaz became fard later on? Okay? But before that, if you look at the Makkiyah surahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stressed upon two things: Tawheed, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the hereafter. Yes? Okay, so connect yourself and build that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one. And we're going to talk about this inshallah later on. And second is to have the yaqeen that Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to occur. When these two things are strong, whatever happens in this dunya, and look at Bilal Habshi radiallahu, all the companions, they went through so much, yet they were the strongest individual in terms of the intellect. Like they were strong. Okay, Bilal Habshi radiallahu ta'ala an, okay, he was being tortured, yet ahad. Whatever happened or happens in this life, as we said, qadar Allah, it is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think it is very important in our community, especially in our Muslim community, that obviously mental health is a taboo subject. Okay, we want to say, oh, nazala giya said, jinnan asara said, this is what we all tend to say. Or chokrane kasut hayut salawa kai nazara se. Okay, halaki if you think about it's all the stress. Okay, is going through exams, university, work, or whatever happens in the society. So we need to first and foremost, we need to revive two things in our community. Okay, one is to rebuild the connection between the Muslims and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have that certain, and we talked about this last week. We talked about taqwa. And the second is to build this yaqeen, certainty in the minds and the hearts of the Muslims. Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to occur, is going to happen. Yeah. So once we start, I was reading Munabbihat of Ibn Hajar Asqalani yesterday. Is it Munabbihat? Yes. And Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, and also in Ta'alim Muta'allim is mentioned that those who, and obviously I think you know the narration, that if we as Muslims look after the our affairs in terms of relation to hereafter,
Subhanallah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after our worldly affairs. Okay, so once we start, when we wake up in the morning, okay, and our mindset is, okay, how many good deeds can I do today? Okay, what good deeds, how can I do tabligh of deen? Okay, how can I increase my taqwa? Once we're concerned every morning about this, how we're going to spend an entire day to look after hereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after our worldly affairs. Yes, and this is very important. And again, Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala says, Man asbaha, whoever wakes up in the morning concerned about his dunya, askhat Allah or sakhat Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will be under the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yani ki, whose morning is stressed about worldly things, automatically your day is yani ki, is starting negativity. Okay, so we should wake up in the morning thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has blessed me another day. Okay, why? And we talk about amal today after dhuhr. Okay, it is not about money, like about job, about worldly things. It is another day, 24 hours, inshallah, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If our mornings are, our morning, every single morning, we do that inshallah, throughout the day, whatever happens.
The hadith sharif says, doesn't it, that no 2 days of a believer should be the same. Every day should be a day that brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because in effect it does bring you closer to death.